Hey guys, this video we're going to be checking out the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Disney Store exclusive comic Star-Lord. Marvel readers would find Star-Lord's first appearance to be back in Marvel Preview number 4 back in 1976. Grabbing ye old measuring tape, let's get a measurement going for Star-Lord. He stands a little over 7 inches, about 7¼ inches tall. He does come with a really cool looking display stand, incorporating some nice stone or rock face, as well as this metal deco here. Now, surprisingly enough, there's actually no pegs anywhere on the base to get the figure to accommodate a stand. You can get him to stand relatively, somewhat easy if you place him on the flatter aspects, the flatter areas of the base. I'm surprised, though, that they didn't actually incorporate any sort of pegs that you could get the figure to stand appropriately on. One thing to mention as well is that this figure, as well as the other 3 figures from the comic exclusive, the Disney Store exclusive Guardians collection, they all kind of connect. These bases all come together, and they give you these little connector points. And they just slide in. There's these little slots. There's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. You don't, I'm sure, have to peg them into all those areas. Maybe they do, I don't know. But it comes with these little white clips, and the clips just slide into place like so. I'm just putting them in a couple of the areas for the time being, and then that would connect to the other bases to give you one big, massive base. Well, let's put that to the side. Star-Lord also does come with a rather interesting stand if you want to have him in flight mode, as he does come with these jet-propelled little thruster rockets, or at least the exhaust areas of the rockets coming up from his boots. You can then peg him into this flight stand. Let's just kind of move everything over to the side. One of the only things I have problems with the figure is that he has this little hole on the back of his jacket, and this is kind of a rubbery plastic. You take the peg from the top of the stand, and it's supposed to work its way through the jacket and into the torso of the figure. And 9 times out of 10, I can't seem to get it completely through, and I feel like it sits a little loose. I wouldn't want to do the shake test because I feel like it would fall off. It's a neat look, but I wish, if anything, they had taken the jacket. Let me just lift it up so you can see what I'm talking about. See how there's that big gap right there? Now, obviously, it's a bigger gap because I'm pulling the jacket away, but if they had just added a little bit of glue and lined up the holes and just glued this part down, where you would actually have a more direct route to the back of his torso here. Other than that, though, I mean, flight stand aside, which is probably, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to display him with that, because I do like the look of this, and eventually getting the other figures from the Guardians line, I want to kind of put them all together and get them on display like that. I may not necessarily even use that stand anyways. He comes with a ton of different accessories, a whole slew of them actually. One of the interesting things, though, is with his interchangeable head, which is this one right here, and I'll swap it out in a second. It came with also this. Now, I've looked everywhere. I can't seem to see what this specifically is for. I'm certain it's just actually a piece of extra plastic that came inside the packaging. It serves no purpose. I thought maybe it was like a headstand. That's ridiculous. But it actually, it's just this T-shaped plastic. I'm sure, again, it serves no purpose. It's just something that, when it was manufactured, they put that in there. Like I said, though, he does come with the interchangeable head. There it is right there. If you want an unmasked version of Star-Lord. Kind of digging, though, the masked, helmeted version of Star-Lord's face, personally. But if you want, you can just pop that off the socket like so and replace it with the human head. I say human head, but you know what I mean. and you have something that looks like that, which looks great, but you know, comparing it to this, I mean, this is so much cooler, in my own opinion at least, that I probably would end up displaying it more so with this helmet rather than the unhelmeted. But, you know, I always do like when they give you extra goodies. I'm all about extra goodies when it comes to figures. Get that back into place. Other accessories he comes included with, let's get him to properly stand, is that he comes with the Mandalay gem. A rather nice translucent pink plastic. It looks like it's almost clear at the bottom and more transparent at the bottom than at the top, which looks like a little bit more translucent. Yes, you get the Mandalay gem. There's like a hole. I thought there was a little hole at the bottom. It's actually not a hole. There's not really any section where you can put it. You know, you could try to fit it into this little back pouch, but obviously it doesn't quite fit in there. I suppose you could have him holding it, but you know, it is neat that they included it with Star-Lord. So he gets that. Then he gets a couple of blasters. Let's have a look at those as well. And he gets, of course, 2 of those. Let's get in the stand. There we go. He gets 2 of these, as he should. Nice areas where they've actually got holes to slot his fingers. And they've given it a slight gunmetal color to it with a little bit of gold. And there are these little holes on the back of it. You just move his jacket to the side, and these are these pegs on his legs. I know that rhymed. Pegs on his legs. Those peg into place, just like so. Gives you, you know, you can display him. I would probably display him, in all honesty, with the blasters. But I like that there's little areas that you can tuck them away if you want to have them displayed with something else. But let's just go ahead. We'll take the blasters here, and you can fit them into his hands. And like I said, there are slots here, making sure you have it facing the right way. There are slots that accommodate his fingers, his 3 fingers to be exact, and his pointer finger, which is really nice craftsmanship, actually, to incorporate that into his hands. And you can do that also on the other side as well. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I guess the gander being his other hand. And that just slots. Sometimes a little more difficult to kind of line everything up here. But you can get the other fingers, 4 fingers to be exact, in his blaster. Oh, that looks kind of neat. Display him like that. He does also come with an interchangeable hand, which I guess, actually, now that I look at it, looks probably exactly, possibly the same shape as the Mandalay gem. It doesn't look like it really holds it all that well. Whoops, and try not to drop it in the process. Try not dropping the crystal in the process. Yeah, it does. I mean, he kind of holds it. I mean, you would kind of probably want to have the hand sitting upright more than straight up, because it's not really nearly enough grip, it looks like, to properly hold it. Then to change out his hands, we just take the blasters out. There we go. And then you can go ahead and grab one of the hands, specifically the hand that has the thumbs going in. Just wiggle that off. There we go. And wouldn't you know it, I put it on the wrong side. Just wiggle that back on. There we go. Let's do it on the right side. See? Because the hands go like this. I mean, really, the hands aren't that much different from one another. Wiggle that off. There we go. And replace. Which can sometimes be a little bit more difficult because you're now working with a hinging wrist. Of course, wants to swing back and forth on you. Let's wiggle that on. There we go. Oops, almost on there. I love hinging hands. The only downside to hinging hands is, as you can see, when you're trying to put the hand on, that hinge wants to move all over the place. Just flop around like a fish on a beach. And it doesn't actually sit in properly. Perhaps I actually didn't add enough pressure to it. There we go. All right. I did all that just to show you that the hand is interchangeable. It still doesn't really quite hold the gem all that well, unless you kind of had him palming it more so than holding it upright. Lastly, of his accessories, as mentioned, he comes with these little thruster rockets. And I guess it's not so much the rocket, it's the exhaust fire from the rocket that you can peg to the undersides of his feet, which look really great. Again, you've got that translucence of the yellow merging its way into the orange, which looks quite nice. Again, the sculpt is really done well. It's a very tempting way to display the figure, I have to admit. Looking at how cool that is, I think, displaying him with that flight stand is very, very tempting. But I think ultimately, the fact that the other three characters kind of merge together makes me think that I want to, well, they don't merge together, but the stands merge together. Makes me think I want to display him just standing. It's my own personal preference. We looked at really all the accessories. Let's actually have a look at the figure itself, because the figure is beautiful. Now, this is kind of like more the comic style of Star-Lord, but really more inspired by the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which kind of really changed the design of Star-Lord altogether. A really nice cranberry jacket, very soft rubber, as one would expect, and nice sculpting on the interior of his t-shirt. I really love the sculpt of that helmet. Not only is the sculpt beautiful, but when you start incorporating some metallic, like metallic gunmetal grays, metallic silvers, the eye portion of the goggles really stand out as well. As equally so, I think the hair is done quite nicely too. You get a slight variation of that to the shoulder. It looks like it's a little bit more of a browner color, but it's still kind of that gunmetal gray. Some nice coloring also in his legs, incorporating some grays, some lighter grays. Then you go right down to his boots, which are kind of like a medium or caramel brown. Caramel brown. There's the undersides of his feet. All around a good looking figure. He has this like little pouch area, which looks like it should close in on itself. Try as I might, as the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. It just doesn't seem to want to close completely on me. I guess maybe if you had something in there. It stays for a little bit. I suppose we could just sit here for the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, waiting for this to pop back open. Take my word for it, though, it will eventually pop back open. And now watch as I say that, it won't do it. God, I love you, irony. Let's run through his posability, shall we? His head is on a rotation as well as up and down. It doesn't really move up and down all that much just because the size of his head and the way the sculpt is, and especially if you look at the way that the neck is cut here, it doesn't really allow for much clearance up and down. You do have the hinging in the shoulders, of course, and those arms all rotate all the way around. All the way around. You have a swivel cut at the bicep portion of the arm, as well as a single hinge in the elbow. It's a universal joint, so you can rotate the arms there. And you can rotate the hands and a hinge back and forth, get that going for you. There's an upper torso ball joint, as well as a lower waist swivel. A forward and back motion on the legs. You can also split the legs out. You got a swivel cut at the mid-thigh, double hinge on the knee, which plays itself perfectly if you want to display him with a flight stand. A swivel at the boot portion, as well as an ankle, no ankle pivot, but the feet do move up and down. I do find like the feet are a little on the loose side, but he still keeps it together. That's about all we can really ask for a figure, is to keep it together. Keep it together, man. Not a bad figure all in all. I mean, it really turned out quite nicely. Once again, Diamond Select, and equally so, Marvel Select as their category of figures, again, continues to do, I think, honestly, a better job at presenting a figure than what we get with Marvel Legends. You know, Marvel Legends, at least, can take some cues, I think, from the Diamond Select stuff as really what to do right with a figure. They have a good height, they're always good quality, and you just kind of feel like you get a little bit more substantialness when it comes to a Select figure than you do with a Marvel Legends figure. At least that's how I feel. Star-Lord, as well as his teammates, are currently available over at the Disney Store, so if you want to pick this guy up for yourself, you can find him over at the Disney Store, where he is an exclusive. Let's get him to properly stand. His legs are a little wonky. Certainly stay tuned as well. I'm going to be looking at the other figures from this line as well. And actually, at the time that you're watching this review, I haven't had a chance to pick up Groot, because Groot wasn't available at the Disney Store at the time that I went there. But hopefully pick him up as well, and we can have a look at the entire team. Today, though, we were checking out the Diamond Select. This was the Guardians of the Galaxy comic Star-Lord, which was the Disney Store exclusive. Certainly, if you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, hit that little subscribe button down below. If you guys are a fan of Marvel Select figures, got a playlist there that you can check out at your viewing pleasure. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.